So now we're going to talk about targeted individuals and what it's like to be targeted, the experience of a targeted individual, understanding the concept of what it's like to be a targeted individual or the experience of being targeted. Targeted is like almost like another word for chosen. It's levels of targetingness. Everybody has a different level of targetedness. Everybody is targeted in some shape or form. Some people are targeted in higher shapes and forms, and some people are targeted in lower shapes and forms. It all depends on that particular individual and the potential of that particular individual and capability of that particular individual. For an example, if you've ever met an individual that felt like he could do anything that he put his mind to, or if you ever met an extremely beautiful woman that can pretty much walk in the room and get the attention of every male and female that's in that room because of her beauty, her sex appeal, her energy, her spirit, because of who she is, she's able to grasp the attention of people in the room. Sometimes the individuals that's in that room tends to become envious of that particular individual simply because they want to be able to receive that type of attention, or they want to be able to accomplish that type of energy that this particular individual has been able to accomplish. So now let's say that this particular individual is able to grasp the attention of all these particular individuals and gain their attention and gain their support. Let's say this individual has other qualities and capabilities that this individual is able to do, such as write papers or figure things out, get jobs, sing, rap, dance. Let's say this individual that's beautiful as far as the outer appearance also has a lot of great gifts that this particular individual possesses. Now, let's say this individual also has flaws as well. Let's say this individual had uh, let's say flaws of this individual may be uh, attitude. It could be an individual that could be overly cautious. It could be just certain flaws that this individual may possess in some instances or circumstances or situations. Now, let's say that this particular individual that has all these capabilities, that has been able to accomplish all these particular things, decide that they want to even accomplish an even higher calling. This is what targeting starts. When an individual decides that they want to do something that's even higher and beyond themselves. Like this person may say they want to be a doctor or a nurse, or they might want to be an R&B artist or a rapper, or they may want to be the president at their job, or they may want to start their own business, or they may want to do something and accomplish something other than the accomplishments that they have already accomplished. They want to go even further. This individual may say they want to be a pastor or a minister, or this individual may say they want to be a bishop or a deacon. And because of the success that this individual has already had up until this point where this person wants even more. For an example, Michael Jackson wanting to have the masters of his own music. Individuals that say that they are the kings of music. Individuals that want to be nominated for Oscars, and they've already been nominated for multiple Grammys. People that want to go higher and higher and higher and higher beyond the accomplishments that they have already accomplished. What happens is those individuals become targeted by other individuals that are among them, simply because they feel as though that this individual is not satisfied with what they have already received, that they want so much more. And people around them, they feel like they not worthy of going higher. So now what they do is they attack that individual to try to bring that frequency of the vibration of the individual that feel as though that they can reach an even higher point of status. that they can reach an even higher point of success, that they can reach an even higher point of attention of others, that they can reach an even higher point of the energies of others. So now that this individual has become targeted, they are now being attacked by unknown forces. But we're going to talk about how to survive targeting. One of the keys of surviving targeting is understanding this key aspect. We are not against flesh and blood. That principalities that sit in high places are used against us to attack us and tempt us so that we have an outburst or outbreak, or that we are brought down, that we, want to have some type of mental breakdown, suicide, or harm somebody, do something to somebody. It is a tactic to destroy the frequency of this individual, to destroy this high energy of this individual, to destroy the success of this individual, to destroy the this capability that this individual believes that they can achieve. They want to make it extremely hard for that person to reach that highest point of success that they feel as though that they can reach, simply because the people around them feel as though that this person doesn't deserve it or they're not worthy of it. Here's an example. Let's take a individual that says, "Hey, I want to be a minister. I want to be a pastor." Now, let's say that this particular individual has gang bang. They didn't have guns. They didn't have women. They done been a player. They done been a pimp. They've been all these things that the people around them have witnessed. And they feel as though that this individual doesn't deserve the title of a pastor unless this individual has changed to a 100% capacity. They feel as though that this individual that wants to be and wants to carry this particular title has to prove themselves worthy of that particular title. So now they want to now control the target. They want to control the target by attacking the target. The target may be an individual that has a high frequency of intuition. The target may be an individual that has a high frequency of spirituality. The target may be an individual that has a high frequency of sensitivity. The targeted individual may be an individual that has a high vibrational sense of future things. So what they do is they attack those gifts that the target possess. So if the target possess the psychic capability, they attack that. They attack that gift. If the target possess the gift of a prophet, they attack that gift. If the target possess the gift of charm, they attack that gift. If the target possess the gift of speaking, they attack that gift. Whatever the target possesses, they attack those gifts to bring those gifts to a low vibrational frequency. The goal is to stop the target from exceeding where the target is. The goal is to bring the target to a low so that the target doesn't reach a high or go even further or go above. Now, the target may not be conscious of what's happening, and the target may not understand what's happening. And then now that we have this technology, they utilize a lot of targets don't understand how they're being followed and how they're being targeted. They utilize the cellular devices, GPS and the cellular devices. They they watch your emails, your text messages. They watch the conversations that you have, because you have so many different apps on these Android phones and on these iPhones that can give you the capability to target an individual and know where this individual is, where this individual is going, who this individual is around. And it's all to control the individual. If the individual is conscious of what's going on, now this individual feels as though the walls are closing in on them, like they're not free. In order for the target to break free from control is to not care about the individuals that's watching them. The target has to completely ignore the individuals that is attacking that particular individual. The target has to ignore it completely. The target has to be aware of how they're being targeted, why they're being targeted, and the target has to refuse to have an outburst. The target has to refuse to have an outbreak because the individuals that is attacking this particular target, they want to create an episode. It's for an example. The devil does not believe in God. The devil does not believe in God. The devil believes in the devil. The devil believes that everybody is the devil. God believes that everybody is God. A balanced individual that operates in the neutral believes that everybody possesses good and evil attributes and not just one of the two. But there are some individuals that lean more toward the right than they do the left, and they believe that this individual that has this high frequency of positivity is not being natural. So they want to figure out how much can this individual take before this individual breaks. But the individual that's trying to be extremely positive, extremely good, they have to be themselves. They have to be a natural individual. It's okay to be angry as long as your anger doesn't physically harm somebody or doesn't physically affect someone or doesn't physically um, touches someone. It's okay to vent and get out how you feel or what you're going through. That's okay. I mean, if somebody's burning you over and over and over again, eventually you're gonna say ouch. You're gonna feel the burn. You're not, if you're being whipped or beaten, the blood and the scars is gonna I mean the blood and the scars is gonna be there. You're gonna feel that pain. It's like persecution. It's like another word for persecution. But what these particular entities in the physical realm has done, they have implicated the stories that has been written in the biblical scrolls. They are trying to make a reality of a philosophy that has been written. So they feel as though okay, this particular individual believes in this particular information, so let's provide this particular individual the experience of this particular information. So if this individual believes in Jesus, let's give this individual the experience of what Jesus went through and how Jesus might have felt going through what he went through or what they went through, such as being followed, being marked, being neglected, rejected, being labeled, being targeted, being chosen. How is this particular individual gonna make it through this? But here's a script that was given to the disciples. Let peace be upon you. So understand that the disciples were told to cross over to the other side as they were traveling, as they were coming and fro. They were given a task to cross to the other side, but they were not aware that a storm was going to come. That storm can represent persecution. That storm can symbol neglection, rejection, altercations, poverty, um, lack of resources, uh, lack of friends, isolation. That storm can represent so many different things in life. In order to make it through those storms, you have to understand what did the master of this knowledge and information, what did that particular individual do? What did they do? What did the masters of these attacks do? How did they make it through the storms that came among them? They made it through the storms. Whether the text says that they said, "Peace, be still." But understand, we're not going to say peace be still. We have to allow the peace that is within us to still be in us in the midst of the storm. For an example, let's say for an example, you having an argument with someone, but the peace is still in you. So let's say, for an example, you're having you're being neglected, or you're being isolated, or you're being rejected, or you're not being recognized. You're not being recognized for your accomplishments, or you're not being recognized for the things that you for your attributes, or you're not being recognized for your potentials. The peace must continue to be in you in order for you to the peace must continue to be in you in order for you to make it through that particular persecution. The peace must continue to be in you, no matter how bad the pain is, no matter how bad the circumstances are, no matter how bad the situations are. The peace is a powerful key in order to make it through that persecution that they're trying to make a reality for your experience, while being an individual that believes in this particular information and knowledge. So it's almost not actually real. You can actually say that it's literally bullshit, simply because they have taken a philosophy and turned it and trying to make it a reality to give the individuals that believe in the philosophy the experience of what the philosophers spoke among, which the individual that believes in the philosophy doesn't necessarily need to experience what those particular individuals spoke about, doesn't need a group of individuals to give them this particular experience to make the information more realer than what it is. Because if you read a book, you don't need, if you read a book about war, Civil War, Desert Storm, any war, the war against Iraqis or ISIS, or if you read a book on war, you don't need to be placed in a war to understand the detrimentalness of that war. You don't need to be in that war to understand the concept of what it's like for those individuals to be in that particular war. The individuals that's actually in that war, they deserve the right to express what it's like to be in the war, to be carrying AR-50s, carrying rifles, being shot upon, being infiltrated, or having to retaliate, having to survive in rural areas. They deserve the right to speak among what it's like. Now, the reason why this is important is because there's a lot of individuals that has been brainwashed, that has been manipulated and hypnotized. They tried to manipulate me and hypnotize me, but I'm a renegade. I'm a very extremely rebellious person. Once I realized how much bullshit it was, I no longer paid it any attention. I laugh at the attacks. I mean, now the frustration of it is definitely natural, because it's like, how long are my little brothers and sisters gonna continue to play with me? And these are adults, grown people that has been given jobs to attack particular individuals for particular reasons, to see what the reaction is going to be, what's the response going to be. But then once you come to the realization that it's bullshit, I even, me personally, I went as far as once I realized that they could hear me on the phone, I started literally cursing they asses out, simply because I'm cursing out the satanicness that they are worshiping. I'm not cursing them out physically. I'm actually attempting to curse out the evilness that has come upon them to attack me as a person. So I would be on my phone, literally just going in. And when I say I'm on my phone, I'm not actually talking to particular individuals on the phone. I would literally just be talking to my phone, knowing that individuals can hear me on my phone. What is the proof that I have in this? Is that individuals has actually responded to things that I have said. Now, this literally sounds crazy, right? That's how crazy it really is, but it's real though. Is really real. Like I've seen it, and I've seen it in so many different ways. I mean, you have people that take on the position to be an unknown light. Everybody is a light. You have white lights, which are the lights that people can see, and then you have dark lights, which are the lights that people can't see, the unknown lights, the invisible ones. They would like to be called the illuminated ones, but they're actually they want to be really the invisible ones. And then you have the lights that are clearly known, clearly seen. They're on a what you call a lampstand and a shade. Like the they don't have a shade on the light. You can see the light. So therefore, these are just this is just some of. I'm not even really going completely in depth with this, but the the reason for this is to provide these particular individuals the experience of what it's like that people go through struggling, the experience of what it's like to struggle for people that may not have the same potential that you have, for people that may not have the gifts that you have, the people that may not possess some of your unique and peculiar qualities. So the experience is for you to know what other individuals are going through that have a harder time figuring things out or have a harder time making it through. They want to know how are you going to respond if you are struggling in particular areas. How would you respond if you was homeless? How would you respond if you didn't have a wife? How would you respond if you wasn't recognized for your outer beauty? How would you respond if you wasn't recognized for your intellectualness? How would you respond if you wasn't recognized for your for your academic capability or your athletic skills? Like, how would you respond if you struggle in the areas that other people may struggle in? How, you're given the experience to know what that frustration is like, to not be as gifted as you are, which gives you the balance, which gives you as an individual that does possess beauty and intellectualness and intelligentness and speaking capability, the grasp of energy, the grasp of attention. You know, it gives you that opportunity to know what it's like for other people that may not have what you have, you know, because some people feel like, oh, she thinks she's all that, or he thinks he's all that. He just feel like he just gonna just wake up in the morning and just say, hey, I want to be a doctor, and it's gonna happen overnight. When in actuality, you can go to the library and study human anatomy and study medicine on your own time and learn the human body and the medicines that the body needs and doesn't need for free. In actuality, you can pick up a Bible and learn the stories and the parabolicness and the symbolicness and the mysteries and the love and the peace by reading the Bible and literally become someone that can express and explain this particular information. You literally can gain this information on your own without the approval of man. You don't need man to approve you for information that you can go and get yourself. But in America, they've created certifications. s- solidifications. So in America, you got to be certified, or you got to be solidified, or you have to be what they have to approve you as a master. Now, you may be a master of this information in your own mind. You may you may have these things down pat, but they want to put you through. They want to put you through a trial. They want to put you through a task to make sure that you possess this. They want you to be on the level of understanding that they're on, by making sure that you understand um, mathematics and science, psychology, all this different universal knowledge and information. Then they say um, you're certified to do this and to do that, based on them approving you, when you can go to the library and get the information that they provide at these institutions for free. Literally, I've done it. Literally, the only way that I can be economically benefited from it is if I become certified by it. It doesn't matter in America what I know if I'm not certified for what I know. I'll just be an individual that's talking about what I know, but I won't be compensated for what I know. So in America, in order for me to be compensated for what I know, I have to go through their process that they have put before me, which is a storm. I have to go through the storm that they have put before me and make it through the storm, which is a struggle, and make it through the struggle that they have created for me to go through in order to be certified or solidified as a doctor or a minister or a pastor or a bishop or a deacon or an engineer or a scientist or just a good person. They have these tests and these temptations, and different things like that, that they want to put individuals through to approve this individual. But you can approve yourself. You can approve yourself. You can approve yourself. For an example, if you study psychology, biology, and theology, psychology studies the behavior of man. Biology studies the body of the man. And the theology studies the spirit of the man. If you understand these three attributes, you can actually become a teacher and a philosopher your own self. You don't need any institutions to provide you this knowledge and this information. You can literally go and get books by Sigmund Freud that has taught psychology, other psychologists that has taught and written and authored books on psychology. You can go and get books on the human anatomy and learn about the 12 body systems, what affects the 12 body systems, what heals the infections or the affections, whether causes and effects of the body systems, what are the medicines that you can diagnose for these particular body systems, or even better, what are some natural remedies that you can provide for these particular body systems that may break down, or they may have a this malfunction. And then you can study theology and understand the unknown, the unknown spirit of yourself. So you have the mind, the body, and the soul. The mind, body, and the soul. If you understand those three, which is three again: Father, Son, and the Spirit. Father, Son, and Spirit. Psychology, biology, and theology, or or spirituality. If you understand the psychology and the biology and the spirituality of man, you have become the master. You have become the master of humanity, because you can actually express you can actually express to you can actually express to humanity why they behave the way they behave, how they behave the way they behave, what made them behave the way that they behave, because you've studied psychology. You can actually express and explain human anatomy and physiology to humanity. If you study human anatomy and physiology, you can actually study or teach and express to humanity the soul of the man by understanding the spirit of the man, which is the unknown of the man. And understanding three concepts of this individual will put you in a place beyond most individuals. Most preachers and pastors can't tell you psychology or biology or theology. They're pretty much in a box. They're in a box. They're not out of the box, they're in a box. They can only tell you what the Bible says. They can only tell you what Jesus said. They can only give you basic information. If you go beyond basic, that means you're above average. You're not the average pastor. You're not the average minister. You're not the average bishop. You're not the average teacher or preacher. You're, you're not teaching basics. You're teaching beyond basics. That means you understand the basics, but you've gone beyond basics by, okay, you've read the Bible, you've read the Quran, you've read the New World Translation, you've studied Kemet, you've studied Egyptology, you've studied Scientology, you've studied mysteries and mystics and other myths. You've studied all these different things, and you've grasped a lot of this particular information, and then you went beyond the basics of those mythologies. You went beyond the basic of those mythologies by now going to study psychology, which studies the mind of individuals. Then you went beyond psychology by studying the biology, which studies the body of the individuals, such as the atoms, the cells, the tissues, the molecules, even the elements such as oxygen, nitrogen, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, iodine. And then, okay, now you understand the biology. In order for you to understand psychology, psychologists, what they do is they test hamsters, animals, to see how these different hamsters and animals are going to react. They put them in little concentration camps, as such as animals, but they also put human beings in concentration camps. That's why you call them projects, ghettos, neighborhoods, communities. They're all put in all these different little places in the world, so people that's higher up, such as psychologists, understand the sociology of these individuals that's in these different places. So okay, so you understand psychology, biology, theology, and then you understand sociology, which is where you are or where you're from or where you've been. So you've went beyond the basics. This is what makes an individual a targeted individual.